Hello and welcome to NATH's, or the Training Hub's ED&I Primary Care podcast, so the Golden Thread, where we explore the vital topics of equity, diversity and inclusion within the healthcare sector, specifically primary care. I'm your host, Dr. Errum Mumtaz, and today we're honoured to celebrate Saluting Our Sisters for October 23. This month, we shine a spotlight on the incredible contributions of women, particularly those from diverse backgrounds, who are the backbone of our primary care system. In this special episode, we'll delve into the inspiring stories of these remarkable women, discuss the challenges they face, and highlight the importance of fostering an inclusive environment that empowers all voices. From trailblazing doctors and compassionate nurses to dedicated admin staff and tireless support workers, we salute the sisters who make a difference every single day. Join us as we explore how their unique experiences enrich our primary care services and learn how we can contribute or continue to supporting and uplifting these invaluable members in our healthcare community. Whether you're a healthcare professional, a patient, or an advocate for equality, this episode promises to be both enlightening and inspiring. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our October ED&I podcast. This month, we're going to be celebrating Black History Month, and we have an amazing theme, just saluting our sisters. We've got some brilliant guests on tonight, and I will do a round of introductions. So I'll start with Lucy, if you can briefly tell us who you are.
Oh, hi, I'm Lucy Dadge. I'm Director of Integration for the Integrated Care Board, which means I oversee commissioning of all our services, and I'm particularly passionate about primary care services.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lucy. And Liz, you want to go next?
Hello, everyone. My name is Liz. I'm one of the primary care network pharmacists for PCN4, Radford and Mary Potter.
Fantastic. And Elizabeth?
Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Boaheng. I'm one of the clinical pharmacists at PCM4, which is Mary Potter in Radford.
Fantastic. And Idah?
Hi, everyone. My name is Idah Nzuma, and I'm the Senior Specialist Mental Health Practitioner, and I'm based at GP Surgery, which is Newgate, Bassett Law.
Fantastic. Okay, so I think just to start the evening, I think it's quite a broad question, but I wanted to start off by asking you about the theme of the month. So when it was released at 2023 October, it was going to be Saluting Our Sisters. How did it make you feel?
I was quite excited by it because usually women don't get the spotlight, especially Black women. So it was exciting to have that focus because Black women have achieved a lot and they are doing a lot. So it's good to have that spotlight, on that particular group of people, just to highlight to everybody what they are doing and also to make them visible that we are there, we are doing X, Y, and Z, and is very relevant, and we are contributing positively to our society. So, yeah, it was quite exciting, and I was really looking forward to seeing what other Black women are doing as well, as a motivational and inspirational factor for myself as well.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think that's definitely what when I was thinking about this podcast, it was such an amazing theme to be able to focus specifically on Black women. I think that's I think what you've said basically resounds, and I completely understand that. Yes, that visibility and that ability to shine the light on all the positive contributions. Elizabeth, can I come to you? How did you feel when you found out that that's what it was?
I think for me, it was a moment of reflection, realizing that I think Black women, we naturally are always in the background. We don't demand attention most of the times. We would just stay in the background and just do the work. So it was quite nice to be like, oh, actually, I could be an inspiration to somebody, which I've never thought of myself like that, or, and trying to think like, who is it that is above me that I'm looking at for inspiration as well?
Yeah. Brilliant. Idah?
Yeah, I think for myself, I was thinking more alongside achievements, because I think a lot of times as Black women, we've achieved quite a lot and a bit more than a lot. And I think it's about coming out there and actually saying, do you know what, I've done well, I've done great.
Yeah.
And just having that point of reflection, because we tend to keep going, aiming higher. But it's good to take some time to reflect and see how much we've achieved as Black women and celebrate that.
Celebrate. I think that's a really key part, isn't it? It's celebrating. And I can see from the answer so far, it's about acknowledgement, recognition, and visibility, and also not this, it's a new thing that Black women are doing stuff. Actually, it's been going on for years, and it's about just shining the light and saying, we are here. And I think that's very Lucy.
Yeah, I think what I thought it's that dual focus on women, because we all know, don't we? In the public, I think if you were to ask the public, the public probably knows that the NHS depends on women, doesn't it? Women do a lot of work in the NHS. A lot of our interfaces that we have with the NHS will be women. I think we know. I think particularly, we've had things like Windrush, haven't we, that have really highlighted that actually the NHS wouldn't we wouldn't have the NHS that we have without women from very diverse backgrounds. But what I think, and this is just my view, is that we probably have perceptions of what Black women in the NHS do, and they might be midwives, or they might be. Actually, it was the opportunity to see that, Black women in the NHS aren't just midwives. They are, and I don't want to stereotype, but they're not just cleaners. They're not midwives. They're not, Black women. We've got a whole range of people just on this call. So I think it was more, it's really interesting to see, how we are contributing, and that breadth of different roles that we operate
that we
in.
cover. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's the interesting thing, isn't it? And you're right. And it's the stereotypes that people don't necessarily realise that they're making, but actually they do have it in their head. So I'm often, and whether it's because I'm a woman of colour, or whether it's because I'm a woman, I'm often the nurse.
Exactly.
Even though we're all in
exactly.
scrubs now, and it's like, when am I going to see the doctor? Well, actually, you're seeing the doctor, and it's like, well, what is it that is it literally a badge that we have to say, I am what I am? But thank you for your responses, because actually I think they very much highlight the reason why saluting our sisters, I think, was probably chosen theme, because I think during COVID as well, what we found is people from all backgrounds have had that opportunity to come out and say, well, actually, no, we are here and we do matter. And what's incredible is it's the fact that that people in different positions of power and leadership are often the only ones that can almost advocate, and I think it was an opportunity for people to say, well, actually, everyone has a right to be safe and has a right to ensure that they're respected in their positions. And when we talk about positions of leadership, we think about, well, actually, what is it that we feel would what is it that we aspire to? So in terms of your journeys, in all of your work, what have been your inspiration? So is it people, has it been people, has it been stories? What is it that you've felt in your careers that you've aspired to, and who has been your inspiration?
I think I suppose I'll start, because I am evidently older than all of you, and so I've had a much longer career. And I can actually probably say, having started my career in the 1980s, believe it or not, you really didn't have any role models. It's a fact that if you came across Black women, they were probably hospital specialists. You didn't come across, even in back in those days, you didn't come across that many Black female GPs. And so it was quite hard, actually, I think, from my perspective, to be inspired by an individual. And I would say what I've found in what has inspired me, I suppose You know, it is that old phrase, isn't it? That kind of, you can't see me, you can't be me if you can't see me, in a sense that actually I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, I'm no role model for anybody, and I'm not trying to create a social movement, but that kind of, if I don't keep going, it's kind of doing it. It's not shying away. It's not excusing. It's, you know, it's being there. It's turning up. It's carrying on, and it's actually saying that the kind of people that do the kind of jobs that I do and look like me, you know, and I suppose it's been that kind of, you know, it's not been a struggle. And I'm not suggesting for a minute that it's been a struggle, but I think trying to find kind of life rafts to cling to, it was quite hard. You kind of had to forge your own, and it is fabulous actually now to feel, you know, that the, you know, certainly the world of work that my kids have come into is very different to the NHS that I started my career in.
I think that's in itself the fact that actually when you started, you didn't have those role models. But Liz, Elizabeth, Idah, you're probably a little bit earlier on in your careers. So how have you felt? Have you felt that culture's changed? Have you felt like you actually have got role models within work, or, you know, have you always had to look for inspiration outside of work? What has been your experiences in that regard?
I think for me, because of my background, so I grew up in Europe, in a relatively like small, very white village where my family was the only Black family. So the idea of coming to England and being able to come to have an education here and have a job in England already for me was very diverse. So I don't think I really took much notice of who's in front of me, because behind me, knowing where I'm coming from, it was very much like I was the only one. So it didn't make a difference to me. Like I was used to just being the only one.
Sure.
And along the way, you meet people, but you kind of just think, oh, well, there's somebody that looks like me at the top. It doesn't matter. That's not going to deter me from wanting to achieve what I need to achieve.
Yeah.
I think for me, earlier on in my career, I kind of struggled a bit because, you know, you see a lot of people of colour like you starting out, but then when you get to certain places, you don't see a lot of people like you. And being as motivated as I am, it was quite difficult, if I'm being honest, because you don't often come across people, you know, that look like you. So you feel like you're going to be stagnant where you are, and you don't really see a way forward, and neither do you feel like you have the right mentorship, or, you know, have people that you can approach to for mentorship comfortably, if I can put it that way. But you kind of have to fight for that. So like I said, I'm quite a motivated person. So you have to be self-motivated, I think, to look outside of colour and to find people who are willing, because there are people who are willing to, you know, mentor you or be an inspiration to you. So where I haven't found any, I have, or any that look like me, I have found somebody who was willing to help me. And along the way, things got better. So wherever I'll meet maybe somebody who's even like a lead in a role that is of colour, I got quite excited, like, oh, I can see myself doing this now. And I think there was one instance where I found there was a Black lady who was a chief pharmacist in one of the hospitals in London. And that was really exciting for me. I'm like, oh, wow. So every time my yardstick got a bit higher and higher. And now I think I'm at the point where if I don't find anyone like me, I'm going to be that person for somebody to be like. So I think even seeing all of you guys on the platform, and even with Lucy, what she does, there are quite a lot of diverse roles for people of colour. It's not, you're not stuck in a box. And like Lucy was saying, I have been misjudged. You know, you walk onto a ward, everyone automatically assumes you're a nurse or something else. So that alone, sometimes that can impact on where you see yourself and your own progression as well, because it acts as a motivational factor or a demotivational factor, but you have to find that motivation from within yourself. So yeah, I think initially when I started off, I was a bit disappointed, but along the line, I'm seeing more diversity, and I think there's hope as well. Yeah.
So we end this episode with these incredible insights, and look forward to episode 2.